This is Mr. Maynor. He's the owner of Maynor Farms. One night, he'd taken care of all of his duties at the barn, and it was time to go to bed. He walked upstairs in his house and found his wife snoring in bed.
That was a tough day at the farm.
Back at the barn, old Major was already up on his speaking pedestal. Word had been spreading that he had quite the dream last night, and the animals couldn't wait to hear about it. So he called them in. First came the dogs. There was 3. Bluebell, Jessie, and Pincher. After the dogs, the pigs came in. They all sat right by old Major. There were lots of pigs on the farm. After the pigs came in, the hens came. They perched themselves right next to the dogs. After the hens, the 2 horses came in. They walked in together. Their names were Boxer and Clover. Boxer was respected for his hard work, and Clover was more of a motherly figure. After the horses came Muriel, the white goat. After Muriel, Benjamin the donkey came in. He was an upset fellow. He never really smiled, he never really laughed, and he never really appeared to have any kind of enjoyment for himself at all. The only time he made a sound was when he made some kind of cynical remark. Very last, Molly, a pretty white horse, came galloping in. When Major saw that they had all made themselves comfortable and were waiting attentively, he cleared his throat and began. Comrades, you have heard already about the strange dream that I had last night, but I will come to the dream later. I have something else to say first. I do not think, comrades, that I shall be with you for many months longer, and before I die, I feel it my duty to pass on to you such wisdom I have acquired. I have had much time for thought as I lay alone in my stall, and that is what I wish to speak to you about. Now, comrades, what is the nature of this life of ours? Our lives are miserable, laborious, and short. We are born, we are given just so much food as will keep the breath in our bodies, and those of us who are capable of it are forced to work to the last atom of our strength. No animal in England is free. The life of an animal is misery and slavery. That is just the plain truth. Is this simply part of the order of nature? No, comrades, 1,000 times no. The soil of England is fertile. Its climate is good. It is capable of affording food in abundance to an enormously greatest number of animals than now inhabit us. Then why do we continue in this miserable condition? Because nearly the whole produce of our labor is stolen from us by human beings. There, comrades, is the answer to all of our problems. It is summed up in one single word: man. Man is the only real enemy we have. Remove man from the scene, and the root cause of hunger and overwork is abolished forever. It is not crystal clear, comrades, that all the evils of the life of ours spring from the tyranny of human beings. Only get rid of man, and the produce of our labor will be our own. Almost overnight, we could become rich and free. What then must we do? Why, work day and night, body and soul, for the overthrow of the human race. That is my message to you, comrades. Rebellion. At this moment, there was a tremendous uproar, but old Major began to speak again. I have little more to say. I merely repeat, remember always your duty of enmity towards man and his ways. Whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. Whatever goes upon 4 or has wings is a friend. And remember also that in fighting against man, we must not come to resemble him. No animal must ever live in a house, sleep in a bed, wear clothes, drink alcohol, smoke tobacco, touch money, or engage in trade. All the habits of man are evil, and above all, no animal must ever tyrannize over his own kind. No animal must ever kill any other animal. All animals are equal. We are all brothers. And now, comrades, I will tell you about my dream of last night. I cannot describe that dream to you. It was a dream of the earth as it will be when man has vanished. Many years ago, when I was a little pig, my mother and the other sows used to sing an old song of which they knew only the tune and the first 3 words. It came back to me in my dream. Words of the song also came back, sung by animals long ago. It is called Beast of England. Old Major, myself, I will now sing that to you. Beast of England, beast of Ireland, beast of every land and clime, hearken to my joyful tidings of the golden future time. Soon or late the day is coming, tyrant man shall be o'erthrown, and the fruitful fields of England shall be trod by beasts alone. Rings shall vanish from our noses, and the harness from our back. Bit and spurs shall rest forever, cruel lips no more shall crack. Riches more than mind can picture, wheat and barley, oats and hay, clover, beans, and mangel wurzels shall be ours upon that day. Bright will shine the fields of England, power shall its waters be, sweeter yet shall blow its breezes on the day that sets us free. For that day we all must labor, though we die before it break. Cows and horses, geese and turkeys, all must toil for freedom's sake. Beast of England, beast of Ireland, beast of every land and clime, hearken well and spread my tidings of the golden future time. The singing of this song threw the animals into the wildest excitement. Almost before Major had reached the end, they all began singing it for itself. After a few preliminary tries, the whole farm burst out into the Beast of the England in tremendous unison. This uproar awoke sleeping Jones, and he shot 6 pellets into the sky. Boom, 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 boom. The gunshot shocked the animals, and they all went straight to bed. Since old Major was dead, we needed a new lead pig. The work of teaching and organizing the others fell naturally upon the pigs, who were generally recognized as being the cleverest of the animals. Preeminent upon the pigs were 2 young boars named Napoleon and Snowball. Napoleon was a large Berkshire boar, the only Berkshire on the farm, and had a reputation for getting his own way. Snowball was a more vivacious pig than Napoleon, quicker in speech and more inventive, but was not considered to have the same depth of character. All the other male pigs on the farm were pokers. One of the best known was Squealer. He was very sharp, had a shrill voice, a brilliant talker, but was small and fat. These 3 had elaborated old Major's teaching into a complete system of thought, to which they gave the name animalism. Several nights a week, after Mr. Jones was asleep, they held secret meetings in the barn and expounded the principles of animalism to the others. At the beginning, they met with such stupidity and apathy. The stupidest questions of all were asked by Molly, the pretty white horse. The first question she asked Snowball was, "Will there be sugar after the rebellion?" "No," said Snowball firmly. "We have no means of making sugar on this farm. Besides, you do not need sugar. You will have all the oats and hay that you want." "And shall I be still allowed to wear ribbons in my hair?" asked Molly. "No, Conrad, these ribbons that you are so devoted to are a badge of slavery. Can you not understand that liberty is more worth than your ribbons?" Now, Mr. Jones here is a raging alcoholic, and because of that, he kept forgetting to feed all of these little animals. So these animals were very hungry, and they got very mad. So they got up, and they tried to break into his house. And they got in, started to take some food. Whoopee! And then Mr. Jones got mad. He ran after the animals, tried to beat them, but the animals retaliated and attacked Mr. Jones, and he ran away. For the first few minutes, the animals couldn't contain their joy. They were jumping up and down in happiness. They couldn't believe they'd captured Mr. Jones. Then they decided to race back to the farm buildings to wipe out the last traces of Mr. Jones' reign. They grabbed the dog chains. The cruel knives which Mr. Jones had been used to castrate the pigs and lambs were all flung down the well. So were the whips. All the animals couldn't contain their happiness when they saw the whips being thrown down the well. Then they sang "The Beast of England" from end to end nearly 7 times before they settled down to bed and slept like they've never slept before. After they kicked Jones off the farm, Snowball, paintbrush, or Sharpie for the purpose of demonstration, and crossed out Manor Farm and put Animal Farm. Snowball and Napoleon went center stage. They explained that by their studies of the past 3 months, the pigs had succeeded in reducing the principles of animalism to 7 commandments. 1. Whatever goes upon 2 legs is an enemy. 2. Whatever goes upon 4 legs or has wings is a friend. 3. No animal shall wear clothes. 4. No animal shall sleep in a bed. 5. No animal shall drink alcohol. 6. No animal shall kill any other animal. 7. All animals are equal. Snowball climbed up and set to work, with Squealer a few rungs below him, holding the paint pot. The commandments were written on a tarred wall in great letters that could be read 30 yards away. It was very neatly written, except that friend was written friend, and one of the S's was the wrong way round. The spelling was correct all the way through. Snowball read it around for the benefit of others. All the animals nodded in complete agreement, and the cleverer ones began to learn the commandments by heart. Snowball cried out, "To the hayfield! Let us make it a point of honor to get in the harvest more quickly than Jones and his men could ever do." But before they could get to the hayfield, the cows screamed out and said, "I haven't been milked for 24 hours. So, more pigs came in, milked the cows' udders, and off they went to the hayfield to harvest the corn. All the animals worked hard in the pasture, specifically the horses. Boxer and Clover would walk around and huff and puff on the hills, saying, "Gee up, comrade, whoa back, comrade." Even the hens toiled to and fro, picking up hay and taking it other places. All the animals worked hard to harvest. The motto was, "I will work harder." On Sunday, all the animals gathered on the farm. There was no work on Sundays, but there was one announcement. Snowball came forward with this green flag. He announced that the green stood for the green fields of England, and the hoof and the horn represented the significance of the future republic of animals, which would arise when the human race had finally been overthrown. The flag would be flying everywhere. Next on the schedule was forming committees. We formed the Egg Production Committee for the hens. Whoopee! Then the Clean Tails League for the cows. Moo. Then the Whittier Wool Movement for the sheep. And finally, many reading and writing classes, which were a great success. By autumn, almost every animal on the farm was literate to some degree. Some of the dumber animals, hint, hint, couldn't completely understand the 7 commandments. So, after much thought, Snowball declared that the 7 commandments could in fact be reduced to a single maxim, namely, 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. Jones and his men were attacking! Rah! So, Snowball issued his first attack. The pigeons flew at them. The pigeons didn't really work, so Muriel and Benjamin came and attacked the attacker. Once again, the men pressed on, and all the animals fled with fear. This was what Snowball intended. Since all the animals were away because they ran away, the men pressed on, and Snowball ordered for the animals to block his way. Snowball came and hit him down, and then they ran away, and the hens pecked their legs all the way out. It was a win for the animals. The animals decided unanimously to create a military decoration, Animal Hero First Class, which was conferred there and then on Snowball and Boxer. It consisted of a brass medal, they were really some old horse brasses which had been found in the harness room, to be worn on Sundays and holidays. There was also Animal Hero Second Class, which was conferred posthumously on the dead sheep. Snowball and Napoleon disagreed a lot, but of all their controversies, none was so bitter as the one that took place over the windmill. After surveying the land, Snowball declared that this was the perfect place for a windmill, which could supply the farm with electrical power. Within a few weeks, Snowball's plans for the windmill were fully worked out. Snowball used his study shed, which had a smooth wooden floor suitable for drawing on. All of them came to look at Snowball's drawings at least once a day. Only Napoleon held aloof. He had declared himself against the windmill from the start. One day he arrived unexpectedly to examine the plans. He stood for a little, looked around, contemplated them out of the corner of his eye, then suddenly lifted his leg, urinated all over the plans, and walked out without uttering a word. After this controversy, the farm separated into 2. You could be on the slogan of vote for Snowball and the 3-day week with the electricity cut, or vote for Napoleon and the full manager. Benjamin was the only animal who did not side with either. Go Benjamin. At last the day came to vote for whether or not we need this windmill. Snowball came up, gave his reasons for advocating this windmill, and then Napoleon came up, briefly said it's nonsense, and that's all he said. Then Snowball took advantage of this and gave an eloquent speech about how we cannot live without the windmill. The previously half-and-half divided farm is now favoring Snowball because of his eloquence. Napoleon stood up, gave a high-pitched whimper, yee, and a bunch of dogs came out, attacked Snowball, and Snowball was never seen again. In front of the shocked farm, Napoleon came up and declared himself the new leader and said that there shall be no more Sunday meetings. The farm was dismayed. On the 3rd Sunday after Snowball's expulsion, the animals were somewhat surprised to hear Napoleon announce that the windmill was to be built after all. He didn't give any reason for having changed his mind. But that evening, Squealer explained privately to the other animals that Napoleon had never really been opposed to the windmill. On the contrary, it was he who had advocated it in the beginning, and Snowball stole his plans. The windmill was Napoleon's own creation. Napoleon had an announcement. "Hear, hear, animals, from this day forward there will be work on Sundays. It is voluntarily, but if you do not come, then you will have half the food." The animals were pissed, to say the least. The windmill brought a lot of unexpected difficulties. For materials, the animals found pink limestone, which could be used to build the windmill. However, these big pieces of limestone needed to be broken, and as you can see, they wouldn't just break. So, the animals, with a lot of difficulty, had to take the limestone, cudge it up the hill, which took hours and hours, and drop it at the top, and hope it broke to pieces, which, as you can see, it doesn't always do. The animals were exhausted. All this hard work, they started falling down, one by one. They were so tired. Napoleon had an announcement. He called all the animals in. Animals, listen up. From here on out, we will begin to trade with commercial farms, not for commercial purpose, but simply in order to obtain materials that are urgently necessary. The animals were conscious of a vague uneasiness. Napoleon, isn't this against animalism?
No, you stupid cow. Of course not. He assured them that the resolution against engaging in trade and using money had never been passed or even suggested. It's pure imagination, probably traceable in the beginning to lies circulated by Snowball.
It was about the same time that Napoleon and the other pigs began to sleep in the farmhouse. Now, as you can recall, all the other animals thought that animals couldn't sleep in beds, but Squealer piped up and said, "Hey, remember it says that no animal can sleep in a bed with sheets." Clover was sure this wasn't true, but instead of getting in an argument, he just walked off. All the animals thought the pigs were breaking lots of rules. November had came, and so had the rain. One night, the thunder was getting so bad that they woke up, they walked outside, and their windmill had toppled down. The animals were devastated. It was a tough winter, and the animals were getting slower and slower, but they perspired through, and they built a new windmill. Woohoo! The animals started to sing about the windmill.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong. I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. So now you're back from outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I'd known for just 1 second, you'd be back to bother me. Oh, now go, walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who tried to hurt me with your spy? Did you think I'd crumble? Did you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, not all. I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive.
The next day, 3 hens came forward and said that they tried to kill Napoleon. Napoleon immediately executed them. Then all the other animals were extremely sad, and they started singing Beast of England in the corner. And Napoleon said, "That is now banned. Do not sing that." "Oh, why is it banned, Napoleon?" "Because the rebellion is over." As if the animals weren't mad enough, Napoleon did something to make them even more mad. He said, "We would change a commandment from no animal shall be killed to no animal will be killed without cause." Additionally, Napoleon had raised himself to a higher level. He said the gun will be fired on his birthday. He wouldn't inhabit apartments with them. He'd inhabit separate apartments. And he would be named as their leader, Comrade Napoleon, not just Napoleon. Napoleon had told all of the animals he was selling his timber in the trading process to Pilkington. Then he told them he was selling it to Frederick, and the animals were struck dumb in surprise. Napoleon had lied to them. The animals were walking along, having a fairly nice day, when something crazy happened. The banknotes from the trading deal were forgeries. Napoleon was furious, and they were getting attacked. The hen looked up and saw a big black smoke cloud. The windmill was gone. The animals were depressed. Boxer, the horse, got really hurt in the attack, so Napoleon called the vet. The van came to pick Boxer up, but when it drove away, one of the animals noticed what it said: horse slaughterer and glue boiler. The animals ran after, but Boxer was never seen again. 5 years later, animals were walking on their hind legs, having dinner with humans, and exchanging secrets. They were signing contracts, owning farms together, and were pretty much the same. No longer were the animals 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. The new saying was 4 legs good, 2 legs better. Normal animals couldn't tell whether they were looking at a pig or a human ever again. They'd evolved to the same thing.